Hey, Crossroads group leaders, it is hard to imagine, but we are actually at the halfway point of the summer semester for communities at Crossroads. And I wanted to reach out to you via video and just let you know that I have been praying for each of you and the leadership that you are providing to those who are in your group and those you are shepherding this semester. And because it almost always happens this way, and God loves to surprise us with the unexpected, my guess is that some of your guys' semesters are not panning out and taking shape the way you thought that they would, or the way that you anticipated they would a couple of months ago, for better or for worse. You know, maybe for some of you, your groups didn't have as many people register for them as you had hoped. This COVID-19 pandemic has kept people at home more than we thought it would just a couple of short months ago. And maybe you've seen that reflected in the numbers in your attendance. Maybe for others of you, you prayed that God would lead you to the right study, the right book of the Bible, the right curriculum for your group, and you prayed over it and you felt like God led you to the right one, and for whatever reason, maybe it didn't land, or it isn't landing, or your teaching is just not impacting people the way you thought it would. And on the flip side, on a positive note, maybe people are showing up for your group and your numbers are great. And maybe for other groups, the conversations around the studies are really positive and people are having deep conversations together. Maybe this whole pandemic has provided opportunities for you to shepherd people and have those heart conversations where people can feel free to open up about their anxieties and about their fears and what's going on in the world around them. Maybe you're seeing relationships begin to blossom over the course of weeks that you never thought would happen at the beginning of the semester. And so let me remind you that leading a community group, leading a class, or a connect group is deep spiritual work, and it's important work. And sometimes the payoff of spiritual work isn't always immediate, but we have to stick with it. And so give your best go each and every time your group meets. And even though you may not feel like it from week to week, you are planting seeds of the gospel. You're laying the foundation of God's words in the hearts of the people that you're connecting with, and you're connecting them to community in a time when people need community and connection more than ever. And so no matter where your group is at this semester, let me implore you and remind you that you are making an impact. You are serving the King and his kingdom. So keep planting, keep watering, keep tilling the soil, keep having hard conversations, keep giving good teaching, keep sharing the gospel, keep pulling the weeds that's in the soil, sniff out disunity, sniff out sin, keep fertilizing, pour your heart into the people that you're leading, pray with them and pray for them regularly, and you're going to see God do some amazing work through you that you never could have imagined. So keep sowing, because that is our spiritual role as group and community leaders. And so the fantastic part about all of that is that really your responsibility is not to produce. Now hear me on that. It is not your job, it's not your responsibility to produce conviction of sin. It's not your job to bring about life change. It is not your responsibility to save people or to bring about spiritual decisions. It is simply your job to be a preparer. Your responsibility is to faithfully serve and cultivate the soil of the hearts of the people that you serve on a regular basis. In fact, 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 5 through 8 speaks to this. This is Paul talking to the Corinthians. They were fighting over who had the better reputation and who was better to be connected to. They were making big deals out of Paul and Apollos. And this is what Paul had to say to the Corinthians. He said this, "What then is Apollos? What is Paul? We are servants through whom you believed, as the Lord assigned to each. I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the growth. So neither he who plants nor he who waters is really anything, but only God who gives the growth. He who plants and he who waters are one, and each will receive his wages according to his labor." And so here's Paul, who has every reason to brag because of all the things that he had accomplished for God. He's really saying, I'm nothing. I am just a a seed sower. I am just a cultivator. I am just a conduit and a preparer for God to do his work amongst the people. And so, man, I want to remind you as you toil, as you labor, as you sow seeds this semester, God is the one who produces the growth. He produces, he's the one that grows, and he's the one that brings in the harvest. He brings the increase. So free yourself of that burden to feel like you have to produce and just be a preparer amongst your people this semester. So hopefully that encourages you at the halfway point and gives you some ammunition to finish strong with your people over the next several weeks. With all that being said, I do want to leave you with a couple of announcements and a reminder. And the first reminder I want to give to you guys is that attendance tracking for your groups on a weekly basis is of vital importance to us. So could you, at the end of every one of your meetings, could you spare 60 seconds and just track the attendance of the people that were in that specific meeting? By doing this, it allows me to report more accurately on our community's numbers to our elders as they oversee our church. It also allows me to know where we're doing well and maybe what groups are not doing so well attendance-wise. And it also helps me to know who you are overseeing and who you are caring for on a regular basis. And that's one of the most important things to us, is just to know who's being cared for, who is putting forth the effort to show up to your groups, and how well are they being taken care of and shepherded. So for a couple of announcements, the first one I want to let you know about is that beginning on July 19th, that's a Sunday morning, we're going to start hosting bi-monthly group leader huddles. Most of these huddles will take place at the Park Avenue campus at 9 o'clock or 11 o'clock. But some of them throughout the year, as we do these every other month, some of them will happen on Zoom just so that we can accommodate more people. But I want to let you know that each of you are invited to one of these group leader huddles. Just so you know, they're going to be training light. They're going to be conversation heavy. They're going to allow us to share opportunities about how our groups are doing, maybe sharing some testimonies and some personal stories. It's going to be opportunities for each of us to ask questions of one another and to gain insight from others and their experiences as group leaders. We're going to pray together. So hopefully it's an informal time for us to come together and to encourage one another and to grow as a team. And so I'll be sending out a doodle poll probably later this week, asking you to RSVP to one of those two meetings, and do your best to not only RSVP to one of them and make this a priority for you every other month, but also to show up to these meetings. So the first one, once again, will be on Sunday, July 19th. Last announcement, on September 19th, that's a Saturday, my wife and I are inviting you to a group leader backyard barbecue. We would love to host you. We want to show some hospitality to you, have you over, and just say thank you for your efforts as a group leader or as a class leader. It's a way for us to just to bless you guys a little bit, because you're blessing this ministry that I oversee directly. And so we want to build a culture of teamwork. We want to get you guys together more and more often. And so we thought we would kind of close out the summer with a barbecue, and we'll let you know more information about that in the coming weeks. But you can expect to see some stuff in your email inbox and also in your snail mail box in the coming weeks. But for now, just mark your calendar for Saturday, September 19th. We would love to host you from 5 to 7. We'll provide the meat and the drinks, and we'll have you guys bring some side dishes and desserts and some lawn games. It should be a really good time as we build into the culture of communities and teamwork. And so that's really all I have for you guys this week. I just want to say you're doing a great job. Thanks for all of your efforts. And we're praying for you, and I hope to see you guys maybe even this Sunday. We'll see you soon.